he did kind of go off the charts there, saying that he could diagnose her condition just from what he was seeing on video.
I've had to bat that back so many times.
Well, did you ever sit him down and say,
I wrote the floor speech.
Senator, this isn't a good idea?
I wrote the floor speech that he gave on Terri Schiavo, and he did not say that he could diagnose Terri Schiavo. He said that there was enough medical controversy that her family's doctors had examined her and felt that there might be a chance, whereas her husband did not, but that there was enough controversy and conflict that she should be giving a second chance. Before you kill her, let's figure out what's going on here. And I really looked at it as a David and Goliath story, that you had, people looked at, why should the federal government be involved with this? Well, this to me was sort of precisely why we have representative democracy, that this family that felt that they were being so overwhelmed by the court system, that was on the path to pulling the plug on their daughter, that they could come to Washington and appeal to the most powerful leaders in America, arguably the world, and say, please help us save our daughter. We have citizens that go to their congresspeople and their senators every day making the same sorts of requests. So I really saw it as a very poignant issue, and I was sorry to see that the media had so misconstrued what the leader had said about Terri Schiavo. He did not diagnose her by video.
Well, the medical community was more critical of him than, and the media picked up on that.
Yeah.
What happened to Bill Frist? For a while there, he looked like he was on a track to be, possibly a presidential contender right now, and then he just went right off the charts,
Well, we're seeing that this election is incredibly competitive, wide open on both sides.
Do you think he was backing away from that?
Possibly. One of the things, aide of his who worked on his PAC said, when you run for president, you have to wake up every morning thinking about, what am I going to do to become president today? That it is a all-consuming, process, and that Senator Frist may have looked at. I don't know. I didn't speak with him about it.
Do you feel he genuinely had the passion that's needed?
I think that he looked at it and possibly thought that he didn't. I don't know the
that
answer to that.
That is a significant deciding moment.
It's
You've really got to have that disease.
You do, and I know that he is so active in so many other ways through his medical philanthropy. Mr. Winter, I don't know where you are, here, who works with Senator Frist on water issues, that he felt he could make more of an impact more effectively outside of the political arena.
What one thing did you come away from the Hill that was a positive or a negative?
I don't know if it's a positive or a negative, but I came away with the frustration, I guess it is a negative, frustration of the deep, deep partisanship on the Hill. That I was there for 3 years, I have my little TV at my desk tuned into the Senate floor, and every single day the Democratic Party had one of their leaders bashing the president. If the war was going well, then we need to get out. If it's going badly, the economy, no matter what it was either Patrick Leahy or Dick Durbin or Tom Daschle or Harry Reid. Every single day there was someone who was down there very methodically bashing the president, and that was really frustrating to me. It felt like there was no genuine effort to be trying to find common ground.
Okay, so that brings us right up to the present. Do you see any computation where it could be any different the next time around? After this election.
It depends on who occupies the Oval Office. I think if it's Hillary, I think people can look forward to 4 more years of just partisan rancor and, just a very nasty environment in Washington.
What about if it's McCain?
That's an interesting question.
Or Romney, or Huckabee.
Sure. In talking with my conservative friends about McCain, because of his years on the Hill, on the one hand, it gives him all of those strengths to be able to work with his colleagues and all the legislation he's sponsored with his colleagues on the other side. But then he's going to be battling Republicans who are not necessarily confident in his conservative compass, let's put it that way.
Right, and the whole issue of the war. Do you believe the singular issue of this campaign is the war, as many people say?
No. I think it's one of the top issues. I think it depends very much on how the war is going, in November. Interestingly, I think because of the surge, it's taken it off the table not just for Republicans but also for Democrats. When you don't have those daily headlines and news clip, footage
Right.
of the explosions.
You don't think there's just necessary manipulation going on to give the appearance that the war is sort of under control for the moment?
No, I think that General Petraeus has been doing a fine job in Iraq. I think it's, obviously still a tinderbox. It's still a very difficult situation. I don't think anybody's, trying to
do you think
put
that,
sugar on that.
But do you think whoever gets the job needs to get us out of there?
I think that they need to try to turn Iraq at least into a place of neutrality.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned that an immediate withdrawal would lead to a bloodbath. I think that it would lead to Iraq becoming.
Now, Obama says he would.
Obama
says he would end the war. Do you think he would do that? Do you think Hillary would end the war?
That's an interesting question. There were news reports that George Bush has been calling some months back, that he was calling the Democratic candidates and saying, look, there's what you're saying on the campaign trail. Here's what, what you will be having to deal with once you get to the Oval Office. And I think you actually saw, Hillary was starting to say, I will keep troops in till they're,
Isn't that a form of manipulation, though?
I don't think so. I think as commander-in-chief, he's really trying to, brief the next person. It's, if it's going to be a Democratic president. And he was not making it public.
Yeah.
He was not publicly discussing.
Oh, but then we all found out.
I could have been, anybody's.
Somehow we all found out.
But I think it was sincere. That this Iraq thing is not. It's
a mess.
It's a mess. But these are real issues you're going to have to be dealing with, and they cannot be solved by slogans.
Can they be solved by politicians is the bigger question.
In Washington,
yeah.
Probably not. But in Iraq, that's where it needs to be happening.
Do you have a candidate right now? Do you think you have a candidate?
Oh, my goodness.
And what's pulling on you? Because I'd be really curious to know if there's any way you could be for Obama.
I've been mulling that over about Obama. I don't know if I could necessarily be for him in terms of casting my vote for him, but I certainly would be for him if he were to become our president. I think it would be just an extraordinary opportunity to heal one of the deepest wounds in our, in our culture, in our society. If it meant fighting him over, tax cuts for 4 years, big deal. That what he has to offer, it seems to me, is morally and historically more important. But my preference would be for a conservative.
Mike Huckabee?
Not Mike Huckabee.
Not
no.
that
I don't think he's a
conservative.
conservative, actually.
What do you think he is?
Well, according to his literature, he's a Christian leader, but that doesn't necessarily make him a conservative.
What do you say about him privately, though?
Mike Huckabee?
Yeah.
Actually, I've been working on trying to make lyrics to. I don't know if you guys know this little entertainer named Fergie from Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to come up with lyrics for Huckalicious.
How are you doing?
Pretty good, actually.
You think he's?
But you won't be seeing me on YouTube now.
Oh, come on! You think he'll be in that? Do you have any you can give us?
No.
Not yet?
No,
they're not that far along?
I don't think that they're appropriate.
You don't think? Oh, come on. This is cable.
No. I have, been a Giuliani girl.
Okay, so now explain to me, if you can, what is his possible thinking in putting all his effort into Florida and not bothering with New Hampshire and Ohio or Iowa?
I actually think that the results of these, these first 3, actually 4 if you include Wyoming, primaries are showing that his strategy was actually pretty good.
Really? You think
and that a lot of the candidates are Giuliani now. If you look on the Democratic side, they're waiting till Super Tuesday to see where the big states roll in. And I think you're going to be seeing the news and the storyline shifting a lot more to focusing on Giuliani. He was not going to get headlines or press, and he was going to, fall off the radar.
So if a different guy wins every primary, then
that helps him.
That helps
him. Because it splits the Republican field.
Can he sustain it? If he wins in Florida, then what does he have to do?
He's got to campaign like heck. And he needs, of course, to campaign in California, New York, New Jersey, all those places where, he feels that he could be strongest and where you do get, that, huge delegate count.
Do you expect if Huckabee doesn't win in South Carolina or Fred Thompson doesn't do well that they'll stay in or that they'll drop out? Or do you see them just, do you see this race as one where everybody's just going to hang in as long as they possibly can? Or will it narrow down pretty fast after this weekend and next week?